right. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Whole Lotta Bogeys interview series. We have an awesome guest for you guys today, as usual. And this is going to be something you guys may have never seen before. And once you see it, you're going to want one. This is going to be Finn scooters. And this is essentially a motorcycle style scooter where the bag gets strapped between your legs when you ride. And you can increase pace of play, look flashy and cool on the golf course, and have a good time while you're not essentially playing. And we're here today with Jake. Jake, you want to introduce yourself to the people, talk a little bit about Finn scooters, and then we'll just jump right into it.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me on the show. Pretty pumped about this. And, you know, us at Finn, we're hoping to do more things like this and get our name out there. I mean, we have been around for a few years now, and our stuff, like our golf motorcycles, are such a unique thing that whenever we post things on internet, things like that, it does typically take off. Like there's a lot of excitement around our product, which is always fun and why I really enjoy my job. But a little bit about me: I'm the director of operations for Finn Scooters, or Sun Mountain Motorsports. Our company's background, we actually are owned by Rick Reimers, who started Sun Mountain Sports.
Okay.
And has developed a lot of innovations for golf, like just push cars, things like that, that are just part of the game now. A lot of that came from Rick. And last year, we started out as in Sun Mountain, and this last year Rick had sold the company, but kept the motorsports side of it. I stayed with them. I mean, I'm a longtime Sun Mountain employee to keep this going, because I mean, golf bags and stuff are awesome. I love working for Sun Mountain. They're actually like a building away. It's not like we.
Yeah. Well, that's so cool. Great.
We're fully split now, but I would not be surprised if I got interrupted here by a Sun Mountain guy walking in to see what's up. But
no, if that happens, have him sit down and say what's up. I mean,
sure.
Definitely huge fans of that brand as well, in the company and what they've done for golf, like you've said. And it's super cool. When we saw originally the collaboration really between the two and how they went hand in hand, I was like, there's some association there for sure. And then hearing like the story essentially of it is super cool, because the bags look so clean on the scooters.
100%.
It's super
yeah, awesome. I appreciate that. But yeah, I mean, when I going with that, the Sun Mountain thing, like if you look at how Rick started, like making a golf bag lighter essentially, and then it had a stand, and then push cart and this and that. And like Rick's been working on having like a vehicle that can speed up the pace of play, fun. It's just kind of like an evolution in his creations, right, if you think back that way. But with it, it's like I said, it's been a wild ride. We introduced these in the 2019 PGA show, and we knew we had something people would like just by the reactions, and it was just a blast being there at the demo day and things like that, and seeing people's smiles, and they're like, oh yeah, this is cool. So that's a big reason why I stayed along, because as like I was saying, the golf bag thing and the Sun Mountain thing is all cool, but golf motorcycles is like, for I don't know. There's just an excitement that I like in my work life, and the people that left Sun Mountain it makes it sound bad with left. Everyone working with us was working with Finn stuff when the split happened, and to choose to stay with that, it really gave us a group of people that are like committed and pumped for like with the same vision. Sorry. Mumbling all over the place here.
Oh, I was going to say, interested to hear the story. We definitely wanted to hear about the relationship between Sun Mountain and Finn Scooters and how that all transpired. But yeah, getting like to the product, like it's something that catches everybody's eye right away. You know what I mean? You see a video and you're like, you instantly have to find out more information about it. You know, how can I get on one of these? You know what I mean? The product's just amazing. So yeah, it catches people's eye right away.
Yeah. And it's the thing that is fun, but also stressful is like, it is such a different direction in golf, where golf carts hadn't changed for a long time. And I mean, there were different individual, like single rider things that came out. And I mean, obviously like the fat scooter bikes they were out probably a year before us. So it wasn't like we were jumping into something like that no one had ever seen before. But jumping in, we get all this excitement, but it's also we're like have to break through a little in the golf world, which can be a little bit conservative about change. And like I said,
100%.
with golf carts not changing forever, like that's always what we're like fighting. And like some people get it, some people don't, but as time goes on, it's like, and you're seeing more single rider carts, we're becoming more normalized. And now it's making our job a lot easier in that department. And with that being said, now it's all about just getting people on these, because we know they'll like them when they're on them. And then getting people also to know that we are like, with the Sun Mountain connection, everything, we're like a golf company. Like we're not building these for people to ride on boardwalks and stuff. I mean, they could, but everything we designed into this was for the love of the game and for golf. And we're all golf people here. And that's like, now that it's becoming more and more normalized, it's talking to pros, getting things like that. They're starting to see that, and it's allowing more and more people out in the world to actually buy these and use them at their own courses and have that fun. Which, I mean, I know I listened to, you had what was it, Jordan with Odin golf balls and Sam and Bill, the last 3 episodes. I mean, with the golf clubs and stuff, they're fighting against all these golf club companies. We're sitting here just fighting to be a part of golf, but when we have success, it's just like a pump. Like we're just pumped, and we're seeing that. I mean, we're out like 13 of the top 100 ranked public courses in the U.S. and stuff now. So these bigger courses are starting to like be like, okay, this can be a part of the game.
Right.
What course is that too, out of curiosity?
Well, we've got like Tobacco Road, Caledonia, Tethro. I mean, we got all types of big name courses out there.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going. We have like, the list is growing where these bigger name courses are being like, all right, you're not ruining the game. You're not tearing up our courses. People aren't jumping these over bunkers and front of our members that might get grumpy. Like things like that. They're realizing like, all right, this actually can be a part of that game. So then the smaller courses see these bigger courses, and they're like, when one of their longtime members comes like, I got this golf bike, and the pro goes, we're not letting a motorcycle on the golf course. And I'm like, well, True Blue has them or whatever.
Yeah.
All of a sudden they're getting to let them play. And that's what makes us like pumped, like
100%.
Just seeing how like we're becoming part of the game. And that's what we're all here for, I guess, is making a change that people like towards golf.
For sure. And being in that, like talking about like the larger, like super high end courses, like adopting it early and like having that help integrate to your smaller, more local courses. It kind of like we were on Instagram and I tagged like one of our personal favorite courses in the area. I don't know if you saw, it was Harvest Hill. And we were like, hey, how about getting some of these Finn scooters out at Harvest this year?
Yeah.
And you guys responded back like, hey, we got a rep in the area that can have them out. And they were all for it. And they were saying, yeah, we'll definitely be interested in doing something along those lines. And we were like, dude, can you imagine? Like, that would be the talk of the town in the area. Like 100%. Everyone would be like, we got to go play Harvest Hill, try these golf scooters out.
Right.
And you're going to have a good time. You're going to want to do it again.
100%.
And one other thing too, is you can calculate the revenue on the website that your course would get if you're thinking about doing this. Like you have the tools on the Finn Scooters website to really make the most of your time and make a really educated decision on what you're going to do.
I thought that was fantastic, how you can calculate the estimated revenue and like it kind of breaks down all the numbers. How many times a day do you think you'll run each one out? Things like that. I think that's fantastic for sure.
I love that you guys brought that up, because it's one of those things that we did. I didn't know how many people, I know these are like analytics you look up on your website, but how many people are actually checking that out. But pretty cool that you guys notice. I'm happy to hear that. Because I mean, we do have a revenue share program too, where these courses, they have like a basically like a portal that keeps track of all their stuff. And we're actually just started a relationship with the Norwegian software company that really brings that data into place, and like tracking things like that for these golf courses to really, when they have the bikes, see how well they're doing, what kind of revenue they're creating off of them, things like that. Because I tried to tell a lot of these golf pros, like, your money isn't just purely like your rental with the bike. If you are the first course to bring it into your town, you're getting new golfers to come to ride the Finns. and they're buying hot dogs, golf balls, whatever, and greens fees. Like these things bring revenue in other areas than just
100%.
Like we said, it's good. If it came to Buffalo, it'd be the talk of the town. You know what I mean?
And
Everybody would be trying to go to Harvest Hill or whatever course it's at and like try to get on one. You know what I mean? Everyone's gonna be trying to ride one. So yeah.
the one kind of bummer with this whole thing is like kind of just how we've spread and like which Sun Mountain reps we use from the beginning. The New England area, and I don't know if you consider Buffalo New England, but like the Northeast is like the one area of the country we really haven't hit very hard. And so I'm a little like sad that I don't have a couple courses to be like, you guys just need to roll down the hill there. I mean, Pennsylvania started building up a bit with Finn bikes, but you come out west, they're like everywhere. So it's kind of like I feel for you coming to a podcast in the one area we haven't really pushed hard yet. And I mean, this summer or spring right now, we've got some good people out there with some demos and stuff that'll be hitting up some courses in your area. So hopefully you'll start seeing them trickle in.
100%.
Yeah, that's the goal. Because
main goal is to get on one, definitely. Yeah,
for sure.
I guess across the border, like Toronto area has a few courses that have them. So
yeah, Toronto's only a couple hours away. I know there's we have some plans this summer for a bunch of on-course content, and with Toronto being 2 hours away, and then being in like the Northeast, like we have a bunch of states that are only a couple hours drive either direction. So we're going to be doing a lot of travel golf this year. So we'll hopefully, anytime we see one, we're going to be hopping on and getting to do that, which is going to be super cool.
I was going to say, we talked about Toronto specifically too, going up there, playing some golf. There's crazy courses up there. So definitely want to check that out. Scope out the Finn scooters and get on one. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you guys are probably the question askers, but I'm just curious, like from our side, do you see us around a lot with, I mean, we're part of the Solheim Cup. We've been, we have a great crew that does videos for us. Our social media picks up a lot of steam a lot. I'm just curious in the Buffalo area, and I know you guys are deep into golf, so it's maybe not the fair question. I'm just curious how often we pop up in your news feeds, things like that. Is it pretty common?
So for that's a good question for us, because I mean, we started doing this about a year ago, and I was introduced to Finn scooters like on my personal Instagram probably 2 years ago, because when I was first getting into golf and they start showing you those ads, because like, oh, you're looking at this, I saw it and followed it right away, because it's like one of those instant eye catcher conversation starters. You got to send it to your buddy and show them.
Right.
And it was, I think like the social media aspect, like definitely was hitting up here, but the like not being able to get on one and ride one was probably the only thing deterring people.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I was going to say, as far as social goes, you guys definitely kill the game. You know, like with the
I love the videos too. Like on the website itself, like it's great.
Yeah. The product itself, like I said before, is so eye catching. You know what I mean? Anybody who sees a Instagram reel of it is immediately going to try to find more information. At least, you know what I mean? Go to the website or be like, man, can I get on one of these? Like, they're going to try to find more information. At least it's such an eye catching thing that, definitely killing the game on social.
Nice. Yeah. And I like asking these questions because, well, we were always tied in, and Erin, who she's one you talked to earlier, she's our sales manager and marketing manager, and she actually had run the like Sun Mountain social media forever, and that's kind of how I snagged her to like join us full time and be and do that stuff with us. But since we split away, we're always we had to be tied in we were Sun Mountain. So our marketing always kind of had to like really tag along with theirs. And since the split, we kind of just wanted to almost rebrand ourselves as our little group and just make it our personalities. And so when I like ask you those questions, it's always just valuable because we run a really small team here. I mean, there's only 10 Sun Mountain Motorsports employees, like, even though we're in all 50 states and got this, which still kind of blows my mind that like it's hard for me to grasp that we're a nationwide thing, and then I just see the same like couple people every day. This whole thing, but
they're everywhere. They're
I was
like
gonna say
Sporting Goods, Golf Galaxy,
Sun Mountain's everywhere. Yeah, I mean, like we always look at the Sun Mountain bags at Golf Galaxy when we go and things like that. All the new colorways. Yeah. Nice. It's incredible to hear you only have 10 employees. No,
Sun Mountain's got more. I mean, the office next door, there's probably like 35 in there, and then like 100 something at our warehouse. And same with us and them. Like we assemble all our stuff here. We're in Missoula, Montana, which is a big reason. I mean, I was in the golf industry before Sun Mountain, but Missoula rocks. So to work for a golf company in a great town was kind of a no-brainer for like a cool place to work. But I do like all the stuff is like done here, all local people and stuff. And we really like take pride in that. And it also makes like both companies like culture, like I don't know, like motivated or something. Like we're like proud, especially like in town here. Like I love being like, what do you do? Oh, I'm at Sun Mountain, and people know like where you work, because we're like bigger company in a smaller town, which is fun.
It's definitely a cool feeling. Yeah,
for sure. And just before we jump into like some of these features with the scooter and everything, what's golf like out in Montana? Being in Buffalo, it's got to be drastically different from what we're experiencing, but
I'd love to hear about it.
Oh yeah. Well, our big thing with Montana is like, it's been discovered. So like every year our tourists are just like crazy coming in, and more people. So it's like almost like I'll probably get judged, like, don't tell people how awesome it is to come here. But the golf is really great and cheap. So it's like Missoula itself has 4 or 5 just fantastic golf courses. And what we pay to be like in country clubs and stuff like that is really reasonable in comparison to most parts of the country. So, and then like this one course that I belong to, it's only $525 a year, and it's got like mountainscape views and like no one like go out there without getting tee times, things like that.
That's awesome.
That's amazing.
And then we do have like the big name courses with like good designers and stuff, but even those are real accessible for us. And then right down the road, Coeur d'Alene, Spokane area is sick for golf too. So west and any direction you go in Montana is going to have pretty good golf. I don't know. It's one of those things, because of the less population, it's good, but it has like the money for upkeep and also like decent prices. Like I don't know. It's kind of a little golf haven here, and we have all like, you can have the more lake style courses out in the valleys, and then we have like the tree line country clubs. And I mean, we're sitting here in the mountains, so I don't know. You probably saw the match, Moonlight Basin's not too far down the road there, that's one of the sickest courses in the whole country, you know?
Right. Yeah, that is, it's up there.
Yeah, no, in the Coeur d'Alene Resort with the Island Green. I don't know. Just a lot of good golf around here.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Definitely.
Weather, like I said, I heard you guys on one of their episodes, like mid-April. We're still in that same kind of deal here, where it's been overcast for so long. We're lacking some vitamin D and just need these golf to happen. My hockey team lost out, so I'm like done with winter. Like, let's start golf season.
Right. Yeah, it's golf time now. And it's we're going to be able to get out of this gloomy wintry springtime here in Buffalo and get to go down and play some golf down in the DC, Virginia type area in the next week or so. So fingers crossed the weather holds out for us down there.
Yeah, hoping to see some sun. We had like one day of sun last week, and it was like, oh my God, this is crazy. I forgot what it was like.
No, yeah, we're same boat here. So talking about great golf is all of a sudden now I'm like just bummed.
Yeah,
I do have time on the simulator tomorrow, but that's not. I need to be outside.
100%. Nothing better.
Jumping into the like scooter itself, there's like, just to like hit on some topics where people might have some questions. Like, as for charging the scooter, I thought one of the coolest things was you have your like regular charger, and then you have an upgrade, which would be like your fast charging unit, which would obviously charge the scooter quicker. But they're all on 120 volt outlets, and you don't need like a 220 crazy outlet, custom something put in to charge this like motorcycle. Essentially, it's just plug and play, ready to go, any standard outlet. And just like funny backstory, I was an electrician for a couple years ago, and you'll save yourself a lot of money not having to put a dedicated line in for a 220 volt outlet for a Finn scooter. You can just ready to go, plug it in. So super cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I always compare it to like plugging in a laptop. I mean, the battery pops right off the bike. It weighs 12 pounds, has a handle. So I don't know how many like golf trips I've been on where I've had like 4 batteries in my hotel room for the next day, like getting ready to go. But we've made all that as simple as we can for people. Everything on the bike is plug and go. So there's nothing too technical for anyone to have. And we did that on purpose, because we're not big like easy go or anything like that to where we have dedicated mechanics everywhere. It probably, I mean, I wish we did, but we had to make the bike as like simple and as easy for a 17-year-old cart kid to keep up. I mean, because those are the people that are going to be keeping these up if they're used for rentals. And I don't care how strong you make something, rental equipment's going to get beat up. So
For sure.
Yeah.
so we design these to like, regular plugins. Electronics are like, if a thumb throttle breaks, you unplug the little plastic, I can't even think of the name of the type of plug, but pop it off, throw a new thumb throttle on. Everything is built that way where that you don't need to have like an actual electrician or mechanic to fix it up.
Yeah, that's another thing a lot of people would probably think about before buying one is, hey, what if something goes wrong with it? What do I have to do to maintain this thing? So it's nice to know that even if a little piece breaks off or something, you can kind of get the replacement one and just pop it right back on. Yeah.
And
I was just going to say too, I don't want to make any promises on the show for the future, but I mean, the one thing we can control is like basically our warranty and customer service. And we've never charged a consumer for a replacement part in the 3 years we've been out. So we're really dedicated to keep these things up and going for people.
Yeah, that's great to hear.
I didn't want to sound like sales pitchy on coming on a podcast, but I
mean, the facts are the facts. That's the thing.
100%.
Yes, I am proud to say that we've done everything we can do to help keep these up and going for the people out there, so they're happy and can keep using them as much as possible.
Yeah, and jumping on like just with the parts, and there's also like a lot of accessories that are easy to interchange and make the bike even more customizable for yourself, whether it's like leather seats, fenders that might be different colors or patterns on them. I think there's an American flag design, which I'm sure sells really, really well.
Yeah.
There's even I think there was like a cargo basket as well, which is super cool. Then there's the fin cooler. Like you can trick this thing out and make it yours. So it's super cool.
1,000%.
Yeah, no, we made the cooler first thing, and because every golf course that we were like showing these off to was like, well, they got to have coolers. It's a big part of golf. And then we started getting the courses trickling down. Like, we don't want people to drink on these things, so we made a basket. and then now, so we just try to make everyone happy is essentially like the goal with the accessories.
Right.
I mean, we want to make some money off the accessories, but the whole point of them is just to satisfy the golf courses and the people that have them, so they like these bikes can be more like a cart. Because probably one of our bigger problems is it's two wheels and stuff, but a golf cart is going to have more storage space. It's just one of those things. But so having the basket and stuff helps out a little bit, I guess. But you also have your bag right in front of you, and your bag can carry a lot of stuff for you.
Yeah, and maybe I'm playing devil's advocate a little, or maybe I'm just looking at the other side, but less clutter is usually better.
Yeah.
Why do you want to forget something in the cart? Do you want to leave something in that dark crevice where you can't see anything? Your phone slides back in there.
I was going to say, just how many times where I like leave the golf cart and I'm like, oh my God, my wallet, and you got to dig all the way down and you can't see it or whatever.
Run back from the car and find your cart in the first place.
Exactly.
I'm totally on your side. I'm just saying, golfers love to carry a bunch of crap.
Golf is a gear game.
I golf with a couple guys that I'm like, they could live out of their golf bag for like a week, and I'm like, what situation are you going to be golfing where you need
prepared for anything? Yeah,
I got a fire starter, a flashlight just in case.
No, exactly.
Yeah, I think the accessories and the parts, all that's super cool. And then as like we're talking about with this customization factor and being able to make the bike yours, there's 8 different colors for the bike, which is super, super cool. You can get into a lot of different combos, and I bet you there's like just hundreds of different combos you could really do between the fenders, the seats, the colors. And it's super cool to see that you can actually really make this thing yours if you were to be the consumer and want to go out and buy one, or if you're the course and you want to kind of adhere to your colorway of your course, because every course has a logo. So
exactly.
Yeah. And I'm just a big fan of our newer colors too. So whenever we add, it was kind of like one of those things we were going to like just to freshen things up, add new colors, but kind of phase out old ones. But then we got too many people liking the old ones, and it's not too big of a problem for us to, because I mean, right now we only have like the Finn bike, and so we don't have a ton of SKUs. So keeping up with the different colors isn't like a huge thing where like, I know over at Sun Mountain, when you have 10 different bag styles that come in 12 different colors, it starts getting a little wild, and it like when keeping inventory and stuff starts becoming a little tricky, where at this point of where we're at, it's not too bad. So we just like the GI green is an example, like kind of the army green with the orange. We plan on phasing that out for like 2 years now, and just by the love of people liking that color, it's probably going to be there forever, kind of thing. And so more likely, we're always going to have more and more colors than cutting down colors and creating new ones, just based off of people's interests and things like that. And we don't really have like a certain color that just doesn't sell or sells more than the other. So it makes that easy. And the guy who's picked our colors is Seth. He's actually the bag designer for Sun Mountain. And I just, like I said, I just love what he's kind of done with that. And our most recent one, the forest green, we did that because a lot of golf courses have like a rule where cards have to be green. And like the army one was a little off because of the olive and the orange. So we're like, all right, let's make a golf cart color green. And now the consumers, like the individuals, just happen to be like, no, that looks sick. So they're buying them themselves instead of the golf courses on that color combination, which is just another example though of like what we like predict and why we do things ends up not being exactly the sales for it. But that's, I think, with any business, like you can do things for a certain reason and you're going to sell them for a different, but
100%.
See how the market reacts and things like that. For sure.
Yeah, it's kind of like there's like out of the various people we've talked to, we'll ask like, has there ever been a product that you thought was going to sell great and then it didn't, or a product you didn't think was going to sell great, you threw it out in the shop anyways, and it ends up being the #1 seller, and it's kind of relates to that in the sense that you never really know.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
The other thing with that I think you guys will find kind of interesting is we always hear like, oh, the young people at our club are going to love this. We have so many Finn fans that are like older lady golfers, and they're like 60s to 80s, because these are like easy to ride and lightweight, so they can handle them. And I think it just gives them like that boost of energy on the course and some like
for sure
confidence out there
that rejuvenation
they love. And you'll get these like older lady golf groups that we hear about taking them out in the mornings, and they're almost like little biker gangs out there.
That's funny.
So it's like our demographics has just been like so split of people. And like the younger people, that's where we get a lot of our like revenue share rentals from. And then like the older people are more of our like buying them, riding them out of their garage to their golf course, things like that. So I don't know. It's just one of those things I didn't predict, having like a bigger fan base in the older crowd too.
Right. I think
people look younger at their golf courses, and I think these bikes give them like an image.
Right.
Or what were you gonna say actually?
No, yeah, I was just gonna ask you, like, obviously there's two kind of avenues, the individual buyer and buying from the course. I was gonna ask you, it's interesting to hear that like the older people, makes a lot of sense that they would be the ones buying it for themselves and whatnot. Where do you see kind of favoring? Do you more sell them to the courses, or are there still a lot of people buying them individually as well?
You know, that's a really good question. And I mean, we don't really favor one or the other. We started out only going through golf courses. We wanted the courses to kind of be like the exclusive place to kind of go get it. And then we just had too many people being like, I want our own, and kind of broke down. We're like, let's just get these to whoever wants them. I mean, that sounds like the most simple business moment, but in golf, once again, like it's just got these kind of old school things where the pros like having power, but they also drive the game and the acceptance. So we want to be careful. And if they have the power, they're going to be more accepting of it. But I don't know, like we just hit a point where like we want these consumer sales and getting more people in their hands. And then those people also though are the ones begging their courses, like, and you got to let me play. And they get enough pressure, then all of a sudden the courses are like, all right, these people like these, let's not like make them mad at us and let them enjoy their golf. And it's just a way for us to spread that this is cool, and it's not, like I said, a bad thing for the game. Where I just can't emphasize that enough, like to the people that are like kind of like against this, like people aren't getting hurt on these, they're not tearing up golf courses. Like we didn't know when we first released it that was going to be the case. I mean, we had hoped that
right,
all that stuff, but they've kind of proven that it isn't. And now it's like, how do we get that in everyone's head, because I don't know, I just hate the thought of like the grumpy guy, like motorcycles on our golf course. No, it's almost like the Caddyshack deal. Like that's how I
Oh
think.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's kind of back to just the ease of riding too. Like you were saying, there's like older lady groups that are going to be going out and riding these. These are low PSI tires, so they're not going to be spinning, kicking dirt up, and like making you do burnouts or anything. And also, they're going to be a 6.5-inch tire in the back, I believe, and a 4-inch wide tire in the front. So there's a good surface area that you're riding on. So balancing isn't going to be as much of a thought as you're really going to think. Because also, once you're going, you're just gone.
Yeah.
And it's definitely something worth mentioning, that they're not going to be tearing up the course, and they're not hard to ride either. So
No, and like I was saying earlier, like we're golf specific. Like golf is our focus, or I mean, like we're not trying to market outside of that. And we built in things specifically for golf. Like one, you're talking about the burnout. The thumb throttle actually has a slow start function, so you can't burn them out on the golf course.
yeah,
So we built in that like protective thing, and then also, you know, like the center of gravity is really low, so it's actually easier to balance than a bike. But it weighs 80 pounds, where I fully support our competitors. Like if they do well, we do well, because it's like we're fighting against almost like the acceptance in golf, not against each other.
Right.
But a lot of our competitors, and also just motorcycles in general, are heavy. Our bike weighs 80 pounds, 92 at the battery end. A golf cart weighs 900 to 1,500 pounds.
Right.
So when we're talking like turf impact, it's no comparison.
there's no comparison. Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, and even with, we do have clubs that have been like, that front tire looks a little thin. I mean, we were at the demo days at the PGA show. We were in the same circle on a tee box with people riding from 8 a.m. until like 5 p.m. and there was no sign of turf like damage. Like, and that's riding in the same thing. If you go and putt on a green and from the same spot, your like shoes will leave imprints. Like,
Exactly.
This bike,
you bend down to pick the ball up out of the hole, you're gonna have a little imprint there.
100%.
Yeah. So these bikes just don't damage the turf. And if they're letting golf carts on, it's a really invalid argument to be like, we don't want these to tear it up, but we let golf carts. That doesn't make sense.
Right.
But also with that, it's helped some of our courses at bottom, when they have like radiator days and it's cart path only, they'll like do promotions that'll be like, but you can take fins off the cart path, and they'll get people to come to their course. They'll like put Facebook ads up, things like that. Hey, we're not doing cart path only today if you take a fin. Right. Or even the older ladies and stuff, like handicap flags, things like that. A lot of courses will let the people take those up to the green or on tee boxes, because they're not going to damage them like a cart pit. I'm not saying ride on green, but
no.
Yeah.
But it is one of those things where you can take them closer and stuff. And a lot of it has to do with the weight. And we have done some people might be listening and going like, well, you have 2 wheels and there's more pressure compared to 4. I don't have the numbers off the top of my head, but we've done the things, and it's still a lot less than a golf cart on the peer pressure points.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say, I could see that being an initial thought where it's like, oh, that might really do some damage on a fairway or something. But it's like, when you really think about it, it's like, it's 92 pounds and you're compared to a golf cart that can be 1,000 pounds or something like that. Like it's minimal compared to what a golf cart would do. Yeah.
And in all reality with the golf cart too, if you're thinking, like, if the counter argument is the golf cart disperses weight amongst the 4 tires, are you sitting in the dead center of the golf cart when you're driving by yourself? Or do you have 2 people in there who are favoring 2 tires, almost like a bike in the first place anyways? And this is a lighter version of that, where you get to ride by yourself, go right to your ball. If you're willing to play ready golf, you're increasing your pace of play for sure, which in turn, it's going to bring more people onto the golf course too. Get more people playing.
No, exactly. I don't know. Like I said, I'm coming off as like better against these people. And honestly, we have way more people that allow these than don't. I just am always like, in promoting these, it's like I feel like I need to attack the grumpies out there or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just really believe in this, and as I should. But
for sure.
And I know how much people like these. So whenever someone says you can't use it, it just bugs me.
Right. Yeah. I mean, besides. No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, especially when you got the answers as to why you should be able to.
Right.
It's like at a certain point, people are just going to, if they're saying no, it's like, well, you don't have an answer. You don't have a reason. You're just saying it because you're stuck in the original conservative, purist, traditional golf thing where the golf isn't there anymore. The
Right.
whole thing with the golf industry is we're going forward and we're progressing, and fresh is good. Change is good.
100%.
So
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I totally agree. I don't have much more to add onto that, you know.
Yeah.
We've after 3 years and talking about Finn every single day, you start realizing those things and realize we're not the bad guys.
Right.
for sure.
So obviously, acceptance into the golf industry seems to be like the biggest hurdle that you guys, what are some of the things that people say, like obviously tearing up the greens and other things like that, but what's like the main thing that people like have an objection to about
the main one by far is like liability and people getting hurt.
Yeah.
And like kind of goes back to the motorcycles are heavy and fall on people, things like that, the 80-pound thing. But you know, we had people from Cincinnati Insurance come out to our warehouse, and they're cover so many golf courses, like cart fleets and things like that. And they were big fans of us because, well, they were telling us the lightweight thing is huge. Like if someone was to crash on a fin, they'll usually kind of go out down to the side, but the weight of the vehicle is not going to do like severe deathly damage to them.
Yeah.
Whereas with a cart, you like hit a tree or roll down, and the weight of the cart is actually where the severe injuries come from. But also, like half of cart injuries are from the passenger falling out, and we don't have a passenger. So that was another big thing. And then they have like all this data, their insurance company. They're like, people who on two-wheel vehicles have a higher awareness of their surroundings. So because they have to actually keep a balance, they're usually focused and have two hands on the handlebars, where someone can get lackadaisical on a golf cart and be like answering their phone and drive into a tree or off a bridge or something. And so that having the backing of like the insurance company, like one of the biggest ones, made me feel more comfortable about this, because they're not just gonna like make up data or anything, because that's like their business. Like they're gonna know the stats better than we are or anyone else. And so that made me feel really good about that. And that gives us like a pretty good pitch when courses are uncomfortable with the idea, along with the fact that we're covered as a golf vehicle. So if a golf course has their fleet covered, which they should, I don't know of any golf course that doesn't have some sort of insurance.
I'm sure in New York State here, you have to.
So unless like their insurance company wrote in a special provision saying like no fin bikes, we're actually covered under these golf courses in insurance. So
that's probably crucial for the customer too. Somebody who buys
Yeah.
it and wants to bring it to their local or something, like being able to say like, hey, this is included under your insurance regularly.
Right.
I'm sure there's also like very simple like waivers that you could even bring forth to them and be like, hey, listen, like I'm just bringing this on here, riding my thing 50 miles an hour, not going to be burning out, not going to be tearing up your course.
Right.
Under 100 pounds. This isn't like a motorcycle where if you got to put your leg down, you're going to snap your leg. You're going to be able to use your leg. And how many times have you seen people in golf carts that are just riding it like a jackass, honestly, and then they do their little drift, and then the passenger or the driver, whatever side it tips, puts their leg out. You snap your leg every time.
No, exactly. And with that too, like I always tell the course pros are like, well, what I do, and it's just like whatever you do with your regular cart fleet, it's the same thing. Like you just have it 2 wheels and that thing has 4, but it's the same concept. But we also get pros like where I kind of shake my head sometimes, where they're like, they'll ask questions like, well, how do I know when a guy's gonna take the bike or not and stuff? And I'm like, well, it's the same thing as your cart. Like, don't have the key weight out in it or whatever. I don't know. Sometimes I just get blown away with some of the questions, but I get it. And I'm glad that they're like doing their due diligence before just allowing anything on the golf course. But sometimes I question that, but it is like true that these are a golf vehicle and they just kind of fall under that same umbrella. If someone had brought their regular cart to a course, or if course was to have these and rent them out, which I do want to kind of self-promote here a little bit, but
absolutely.
With the injury thing, and I hope she's not listening to be like, God, they're talking about me, but we've actually only known of one injury to ever happen on a fin. Maybe there's other people out there are going to be like, no, I saw this guy like do this, but that we have actually came back to us and we heard about was one like 7-year-old lady, and she wasn't even like riding the fin. She was like Fred Flintstone backing up on a bridge, and the back tire fell off, and then she tipped over and broke her wrist. We have not heard of anyone actually like getting hurt from crashing on a fin, and we've been out for 4 years now on our revenue share alone. Or I mean, we know we've had over 200,000 rentals from courses renting these out, and I feel like that safety record is like way beyond what I would have guessed.
Oh yeah.
But also something we're like, wow, we actually are really safe. It's not just us like telling people. I mean, not that we would lie about that, but
yeah, no, it's
we've got like the proof and the numbers that like people aren't getting hurt on these, and that's really makes me more comfortable about like selling these and being part of this company and getting these out there.
Right. Yeah, I mean, just going back to like a golf purist who would see this and be like, "What? Come on, someone's gonna get hurt out here." Are all these like kind of like bullshit excuses, to be honest? Because if you just look at it objectively, it's much safer. I don't know, like it seems like a much better alternative to a golf cart almost. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and the one thing too, I mean, before I worked at Sun Mountain, I did the assistant pro thing. I was a PGM student. I mean, I worked at golf courses, and I do feel for the pros sometimes. You get like some of the grouchier members that are paying pretty good dues for your private club or whatever, and they do have a say, or board members, right? And they're like, you just know they're going to be like, why are there golf bikes on the course? And those are the same guys that are mad that older ladies get an 8 o'clock tee time, which is like the most crazy thing that in today's age that people get mad about, like a female having a certain tee time over a man, like that stuff. Like they still deal with that, and I can see how they're just like, I don't want to deal with that. Mr. Johnson coming in every day and yelling at me because he saw
like the Caddyshack guy, like we were mentioning.
Yes, exactly. I mean, so I do feel for the pros a bit, and if they do give us a lame excuse, maybe they're just trying to be nice, but they just don't want to deal with that. But I do think golf in general, like there is if you look at like the data of golfers, there's like a big hunk of very old golfers right now, and there's like a pretty good gap, and then there's like the younger golfers kind of thing coming back, and then like there's kind of that mix in between of like the Tiger generation. But that older group that is like the more like golf conservative group, I don't want to sound too grim, but they're going to be dying off. Like getting so much better about that. And that was just like ingrained, like a lot of that thought process was so ingrained for so many years. And even at my local country club and stuff, you see it changing faster and faster. And I know it's just kind of brings back to like, I love how they're arguing about whether like hoods are cool or not on a golf course. If a sport is arguing whether a hood is bad or good for the game, you know that we're going to have some flack having a golf motorcycle. Like it's what it is.
Right. Exactly.
Well, you guys are clearly having success with having 200,000 plus rentals, the one injury known. And it's stuff like that's cool. And I feel like fin scooters is only going to get bigger and bigger. And I really want to see a boom of them in the Northeast so that like more people can get on them and give them a shot. And I'm sure we will. So
it'll be coming. Like I said, when we focus on an area, we get them into courses your area is the whole like New England area is like kind of the last on the map. It's basically the furthest from us, and that's why that happened. But we're pumped about the future, and not just the fin. I mean, we've got some things in the works. I don't think our owner would want me releasing too much information over to the whole public, but
understandable.
Other vehicles and things in the works. We really want to turn this into like, we got motorsports in the name. Just we think that sounds cool and stuff, but we can't just have one motor vehicle. And so we're looking for different devices to fit everyone's kind of needs and stuff. Hopefully, get something that you can throw in your trunk and out. Which the 80-pound bike, I can fit 3 of these in my 4Runner, by the way, at a time.
Oh wow!
And
that's good to know.
Yeah, if you get like the Harbor Freight motorcycle racks, they're like $150. You can roll like a fin fits on that perfectly if you have a hitch for your car. They're not that hard to get to the course, but still being able, if you have a sedan, like you're not going to throw a fin into the trunk. But or our head like maintenance guy, he fits 2 in a Subaru Outback, so it's still like
wow.
they fit pretty small vehicles, but you can
Yeah.
still, to get to that, like go into a PGA Tour Superstore, have it in a square box and throw it in your trunk,
Right.
and then be able to unfold it and go on the golf course. We want to go down that line, but we also wouldn't mind redesigning a full like 4-wheel cart and stuff. I mean, we really want to take this to like bettering golf vehicles, and
Yeah.
we're a ways out before some of that stuff, but we're just all like pumped and like motivated, and like we're not stopping with this fin thing is more what I'm saying.
Oh, it's awesome. I
Yeah.
feel like that's kind of like sorry not to kick off. It's like a thing that not a lot of people focus on in the golf industry is the things outside of your gear. You know what I mean? These golf vehicles that really could use some updating, or like people could think outside the box a little more as far as the stuff goes. And that's great to hear that you guys are doing that.
For sure.
Yeah.
One question I had for you too, being that we were talking about like having such a loyal customer and fan base with Finn, would you ever see yourself doing like limited release drops, maybe like 150, 500 made of different color combos or size Finn scooters? Could be, I don't know, whatever it would be, that would be like this limited release type thing.
Yes. I mean, I'd love to get to that point. And I don't like leaving people out at this, or I mean, I know it's limited and blah, 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 but at this point, because I know we're not like Scotty Cameron yet, things like that. And I don't want to like so much get ahead of ourselves. Where we do this though is like kind of a loyal, if you buy like a Finn, our Facebook group, we kind of like, we always drop things for them. And I mean, it's really close to what you just said. And I'm saying like, we're not doing that, but if you have a Finn and if you can join this like Facebook group, and that's like, we're testing, when we were testing this umbrella thing, we test things, we do it through that group. Or if, let's say like refurbs, things like that, we'll drop through that. And I kind of like having like a little bit of an exclusive group, and that Facebook group allows us to treat those customers like special before we've really hit a point to where, I don't know, we having these drops and things like that. The thing with all this too is like with having one product and the drops and stuff, it is hard for like figuring out inventory because we have such a big thing, and it takes us a while to like create a new bike or do that. So I would love to where we do that, and I do hope in the future. And I mean, I'm not no promises on this, but we do get like, I mean, we designed everything from the ground up, and we assemble our stuff, but we get like our motor from a certain factory. We get our batteries from a factory to be like created. It would be great if we grow our company into where we're doing our own manufacturing too. But we got a lot of bikes to sell before we get to that point. But that is also like a long-term goal that we're, fingers crossed, we can get there, you know, and if we're doing our own manufacturing, like doing drops and stuff like that is like almost limitless. Like,
oh, for sure.
Yeah.
The sky's the limit at that point. It's really
exactly.
Just do it up. So
Right. Yeah.
It's cool to hear that, like, even just the thought that you're like thinking that far into the future and like what you want to do. And like, I like hearing about like the plan and everything and seeing as it unfolds, because then we reconvene, we meet back up, and we talk a little bit about what's happened since then and now. And it's pretty cool.
Yeah. I'm definitely excited to kind of see in the future what comes about when you're talking about like the different motor sports you can kind of bring, or the motor vehicles that you can bring to golf, I should say. Because obviously you guys have been super innovative with the Finn scooter. So I'd like to see what's next for sure.
Yeah, no, we're trying. It's just like every single guy that I listen to on your show, it's just hard, you know, and that's the whole thing. We want all that. It's hard. We're grinding. And, but we've seen the hard work pay off. So we know if we just keep it going and we keep progressing, we're going to be happy here.
Right. Yeah. I was going to say earlier, like when you have an innovative product like you guys do, and it's something pretty new that like would take a lot of people off guard almost, you're going to kind of go through those trials and tribulations and things like that. But nothing good is ever easy. You know what I mean? So breaking into the golf industry, like I said, is going to be really great for you guys. I can't wait to see that. Yeah.
That's kind of and this is one of those things that our owner might be like, that's the stupidest thought process. But I always tell like our smaller crew in here of like, man, if this was easy, we'd have a lot of competitors because people love these things, and
Right.
we don't have a lot of competitors. Like, people aren't breaking into this market, and it's kind of like a motivator for us, like that. Hey, we're making progress, and no one's jumping in on this. Like, it proves that it is a hard thing, and like, kind of like, I know with like Tesla, you think back to them, and I mean, it's about impossible for car companies to really make it. Now all this, I mean, now they've gone downhill quite a bit, but they started, they got hot there. They're now, everyone knows the name Tesla, and they broke into something that people said you couldn't really do, that because that market is so hard, and anything with vehicles. And I know this is such a lower level, but it is hard, but it is nice that we don't have much for competition, and like Fat Bikes and those guys. Like I said, I don't think of you guys as competition. You're more of like, we're teaming up right now on this whole deal, but I think we do have kind of like different markets we go after and stuff on that too. So I don't feel like I'm bashing them by saying we don't have competition.
Yeah, and like Jared was saying with like the different trials and tribulations that both companies go through, it's like, because you guys are pioneering an entire wave in the golf industry. Like, you guys are the first. Like, you guys are the big brother to everybody else in the future who like set those ground rules, got grounded, like had to do all those things. Like, it's going to be like I said, just cool to see how far you guys can take it, and how many Finn scooters we can get on and ride. And I'm excited.
Yeah, you're doing all the work to get on the golf courses, be accepted by these, older golf purists and things like that. So yeah, you're definitely going to benefit from that for sure.
Yeah. Nothing else to add to that either.
Absolutely.
No, for sure.
Absolutely.
But yeah, Jake, I thank you a ton for hopping on the podcast today and letting us honestly learn a lot more about Finn scooters and the relationship with Sun Mountain, and sharing a bunch with the viewers too. And hopefully a bunch of people are going to want to check these things out and get on one. Yeah. And we'll obviously have all the links for where they can go to check it out, see other videos of talking about. I know you have like a whole video series on your website, which goes in depth about a whole bunch of different things, which we'll link in obviously all
in
the
the descriptions and everything like that. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, super thankful to kind of be able to learn more about Finn scooters and kind of the ins and outs and different details. And I feel like if anybody saw the product and is now listening to this podcast, they'll have a lot of questions that they have for themselves answered. You know what I mean? How to get them on the course and how to kind of go about that, how to get on one. So yeah, super thankful for that. Appreciate you.
Yeah, no, awesome to have me on. Like, I appreciate it a ton. Super happy that you guys and Aaron got this going. And I mean, anything from this I wanted to come out is just like, we're real, we're here. If you call in and have these questions, like, everyone's gonna know the answers or be able to help you. Like, I just want us to come out as like authentic, and we're not just like a Chinese product that's shipped over here that is some guy trying to pop some money off of, something that we're a real golf company and a committed real life Missoula, Montana thing going on, trying to change golf. And hopefully that came through to whoever's viewing this. And yeah, feel free to call in. We're here ready to answer any questions and hopefully get you on a Finn.
Awesome.
Super cool. Yeah. Well, thanks a lot again, Jake, and we appreciate all the insightful information we were able to share with the viewers, and we look forward to reconvening at a later date and seeing where the update's at.
Yeah,
what's new.
For sure.
Awesome.